All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome alive tonight. Daytona, that's right. Super Speedway action, 2.5 miles here with some trucking action with the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series here. Truck series, and these boys are going to do some bad, fast things and some bad, fast trucks around a bad, fast track. That's what I like to say all night long, and we have got a huge field, monster truck excitement, about set to get qualifying underway here. Folks, get your refreshments, get everything set, get your hats, get locked down, strapped down, tell the dog, cat, and the neighbor and everybody else it's time to be quiet. We got racing action here, Sim500 style, Daytona. Here we go. And I want to welcome everybody out there tonight. Just to let you know, this is race number 2 of the season here, Winter Series, the Sim500 Monday Night Money Winter Series, Truck Series. And we're here at the epicenter, Daytona. That's right, this is they call it the epicenter of motorsports. That's because this is where it all starts, season and all. Doesn't end here, but it does start here, and the middle of the seasons begin here. Huge 2.5 mile super speedway, and I always say there's going to be some bad fast drivers and some bad fast trucks around a bad fast track. Going to do some bad fast sliding, side by side, 2x2, nose to tail around this a huge track. We're done here tonight, and I'm waiting on my colleague here tonight, Harrison. He will be right back here shortly, as me and him is going to call this action. And it's going to be action-packed. 37 trucks. Let me repeat that again. Almost 37 trucks are going to grid up here tonight for the Sim500. No fast fixes here at Iracing. Truck series style action. And it's going to be some awesome speeds that these boys are going to do around here. So get geared up. Hope you love it. Hey, what's going on, K-Hill? So you can't tell the dog be quiet on the one commentating. No, I ain't good deal. Oh, good deal. I hear you, man. Well, as always, I want to appreciate all the viewers out there. I appreciate everybody tuning in and watching. All right, good deal. We will. EJ O'Rourke out here right now trying to set his pace and trying to get a good time put up here. Actually, I don't think he's actually he is out there right now. He's sitting 21st on the grid, trying to motor that machine around this track. And let's see if old Harrison, you back yet? Mic didn't work. Still didn't work. I see it lighting up. Well, Harrison over there having a few little technical difficulties. That's all. He'll get it straightened out. I know his mic was acting up a little bit earlier, or his headphone turned off on him there for a little bit. But like I say, we're in the middle of qualifying here. Daytona Super Speedway here. Folks, we're live tonight. There you go. Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, Truck Series here. And these boys, that's right, when we say Money Series, because hey, there is money on the line. Big things here tonight. These guys are about to do big things on a 2.5 mile speedway. And they're about to shoot around here. Again, we got the qualifying. Justin Fuller is the man on point right now. You got Bobby Wetzel sitting in second. EJ O'Rourke, you just mentioned it out there, JD. Well, he just put that thing up 4th on the speed chart. Chad Coleman, forget about it. Man, just took the top spot.
Oh, and you know what? I'm back in business, I hope.
There we go. We got Harrison back here. Harrison, how you doing? I'm Joe White up here in the booth. Got Harrison up here with me again. Harrison, I'll tell you, we're at Daytona, and we call this the epicenter. And the reason we call this that, and the motorsports as well, this is where it begins, and this is where a lot of guys want to win here at Daytona.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at Daytona, if I could use a very current analogy, it's kind of like the panic of your headset going out for the entire race long. You're just constantly reacting to everything, and everything seems like it's about to be a huge train wreck, and somehow somebody's going to get through it and win the race. But until then, who knows? We're going to have a pack of just craziness.
Absolutely we do. like you just said right there, pack of craziness, and that's one thing we're going to definitely see here tonight. Craziness. I mean, it is definitely, these guys will be on top of each other, inches apart, running at about 180, 190 mile an hour, inches apart from one another. So hang on to your hats here. Qualifying's about to conclude here. They get 3 laps or 10 minutes, whichever one they can get done. Right now, Don Robertson is up top. So looking good on that speed chart right now. What do you think we're going to see here tonight with these trucks that you've seen maybe in practice?
You know, it's interesting because I was able to watch these Sim500 guys race on the Wednesday Super Speedway Series, I believe it was. I caught them last Wednesday, and it was a heck of a race, except it was interesting. Just you had to be really particular about where you would choose to do your bump drafting. It used to be that you could really shove someone around the entire track. Not so much with the B car, the Xfinity car. I almost said Nationwide these days. But I finally stopped saying Busch Series, and now I'm saying Nationwide. But the trucks, I think you could be a lot more aggressive with the bump drafting. So that's the first thing I'm going to look for. But I haven't seen the trucks race at Daytona recently, so I'll just have to wait and see as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, as far as the trucks go here on iRacing, a lot of it is, I watch a lot of the Cup Series, and I got a lot of Daytona going on this week. The Xfinity Series, or B car that we call it here in iRacing, and the trucks, normally you can get the outside groove going. You can get that side-by-side style draft happening. With the Cup car, or the A car that we call it here, and it's usually a single file, and the low line is the one that prevails. You got to have a lot of help to make that outside line work in a Cup car. So it's going to be interesting. I think what you just said, we're going to see these guys glued together, and it's just going to be nonstop. Now, if we get some green flag stops in, it will spread the field up in packs, but that's another thing. Eventually, they're all going to come back together. It happens here. It's a plate track, and that's one of the things about plate track racing that we see is these guys are going to grip it. Now, strategy. Really qualifying, it matters, but again, you can start 37th and bring this thing to the front.
Oh, absolutely. And you just pointed out the pit stops. That's something where a lot of times you could come into the pits running 22nd during a green flag run of stops, and just by exiting well, or just by entering well, and these guys are practicing that throughout the practice session, they could go from 22nd to the top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right there. I mean, we got a huge field here. A lot of bad, fast drivers out here tonight. Huge field, huge power, huge track here at Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, Winter Series, the Truck Series tonight. Going to be live here on iRacing, the iRacing broadcast brought to you. I want to appreciate everybody tonight, man. OSRNetwork's bringing this thing to you here live on YouTube and Twitch. That's right, simulcast here. Plus, we're also worldwide, folks. So if you like what you see, hit a like, hit a sub, if you don't like what you see, you can always hit thumbs down. But, that's definitely up to you. I got other stuff if it's racing doesn't make you that exciting.
No, absolutely. There's a bunch of ways to keep up with what's going on here. And right now they got the drivers' meeting going on, getting everything set up. But I have to tell you, I did not predict Don Roberts getting the pole in this one. I think that's a popular one, especially with E.J. O'Rourke, who's currently in 7th.
Absolutely, and you got Justin Fuller right there in 4th, Bobby Wetzel sitting in 5th. But you're right, E.J. O'Rourke sitting in 7th, trying to look for the man there, Malik Ray, way down in 29th. But again, it's like what we just talked about, Harris. You really don't, qualifying is important. I don't want to take anything away from that, but this is a plate track. You could start in the middle, the back, the front, and you could come to the front here any place and win this thing. It's almost like this track is like the wild card style track. Anything can happen at any given time at any given place.
Yeah, and a lot of guys will intentionally start from the back as a strategy, trying to avoid the big incidents as they come up through. Sometimes that prediction can go awry, though, and you get caught in the back, lose the draft, and that big wreck doesn't happen, and then you have the green flag stops, it splits up a little bit, wait for everyone to come back together. So that's one of those, there's a few guys starting in the back that way. Louis Robinette, we saw him lead some laps last Wednesday. Joey Katina, Jimmy North.
Yeah. And it's just nothing uncommon. Also, another thing we're probably going to see is guys falling to the back early on. So different strategies that they'll play out here throughout the race. Some guys want to stay up front, and that's what their demeanor is. They want to stay out front. They want to lead as many laps as they can, and that's just where they want to be at. There's some guys, really the middle pack, I've really never heard anybody say they want to be in the middle at a plate track, because normally the big one comes to mind. That's the word that everybody has on the edge of their tongue, is the big one here, and they keep that in the back of their mind because it can happen at any moment. And with a huge field, it's only going to take one mishap, and you can wipe most of these fields. And oh yeah, no fast fix here as we're getting set here to go green flag racing.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too where you try to be up front, and you always think that the safest place to be is right at the front of the pack. And then it seems like a common trend lately is I have watched a few of these at Daytona and Talladega where the leader gets taken out early. And it's just intense battling for the top spot. A couple of guys on the high side get together, come on down, and take the leader out. And so there really is no safe spot. But as you said, no one wants to be in the middle. That just... a wreck happens in front of you, you lift a little bit, someone gets into the back of you, and that's it. There's no room for error.
All right, well, let's get this thing gridded up here tonight. Like I said, we're here at Daytona International Speedway. The man on pole, Don Roberts, putting it on pole tonight. Tim Matthews starting on the outside. Chad Coleman right there in third. Justin Fuller in fourth. We got Bobby Wetzel starting fifth. Steve Goschalk, I believe that's what we came up with last week, starting in sixth. E.J. O'Rourke there in seventh. Rick McBride sitting in 8th. And 9th place man, Braden Whitaker right there. And 10th place, Jonathan Cottle. As we look through the rest of this field, star-studded. That's what I can say. I mean, we have got a lot of talent sitting out here. Any one of these drivers could pull this thing off here tonight at Daytona, Harris. Man, I'm getting goosebumps and getting excited already.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look at the guys who didn't qualify, Thomas George, he was a factor last week. Steve Minson, Michael Guest dominated last week. Malik Ray, second place finisher last week. Bobby Terrell, Chad Cole, Paul Cooper, just got in from Charlotte, North Carolina. Now he's racing. Scott Simley, Mike Kelly, Joe Hudson. It's a nice field here. Scott Formosa coming from the back. Louis Robinette from 37th. He led laps last week at Talladega.
Yeah, it's a who's who of people here at the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. And the pace car is going to roll these guys off here and get us set here tonight. Wow. And you feel that, the electricity of these guys out here about to do some awesome things on a huge 2.5 mile super speedway. We call this the epicenter for motorsports because it's kind of where it all started at. And it's we're about to we're starting it at here also for this season.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting because we have two super speedways actually in the first 10 races, I believe, and then a short chase, or actually 9 races. I believe we have 9 races, and then a 2-round chase. We have 2 races after that, and then the finale at, I believe, Homestead. And so this is a type of racing that you really want to get right because it's kind of an outlier when you look at what the NASCAR guys do, but 2 out of 9 in order to make the playoffs. You cannot have things go wrong if you want to be in the playoff situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge field. And tonight could be one of those wild card style races like we were talking about before, because you never know what's going to happen as the pace car's coming into turn number 4 here. And it's going to set loose here. We're going to go side by side here on the start as pace car's coming out of turn number 4. Fasten your seat belts, gentlemen. Ladies and everyone out there, it's about to get set to go racing here at Daytona International Speedway, Sim500 Monday Night Money Series in the trucks tonight live. And we'll go side to side. We'll ride with Malik Ray, who's in the back. We're going to get the leader up front here. That is the man, Don Roberts. Pace car's in, green flag in the air. That's the start of this one here as you listen to those motors rumble and come to life as they head off into the turn side by side, Harrison. That's how it's going to be, 2 by 2, storming into turn number 1.
And already an advantage to the outside there. That's Tim Matthews trying to work over as Don Roberts on the bottom is going to get some help here shortly. But as for right now, they're just looking for their partners, trying to get up through the field. So a couple of guys going to the bottom, going to the back, looking for some safety. But looks like Tim Matthews with a big shove from Justin Fuller is going to find himself in the lead here in a second.
Absolutely. 54 takes it to the front side there on the low side of Tim Matthews. Got Justin Fuller up top as these guys still are side to side. That 51 machine with the 9 on his back deck lid as they'll storm out of the turn to take this thing around to complete lap number 1. Who's going to get us a drag race to the line? But I think that number 54's got him. He does. The 87 there, though, Don Roberts is still glued to his back deck lid. I tell you, this is what we're going to feel like all race long, Harris. I mean, this is the kind of excitement that we come to see here at Daytona.
Yeah, absolutely. This is nonstop. You don't get a break all the way through the first pit cycle. You might see a break up a little bit, but Tim Matthews has to be happy with where he's running right now because he can kind of control it. He left his drafting partner by switching to the bottom. Now I believe it's Don Roberts stuck to the bottom behind him. Justin Fuller will be the leader on the outside looking for a big help from behind. But as they try to work this out, the whole field is just... sometimes it's kind of like sitting in traffic and both lanes just don't seem to be going anywhere. So you need a little bit of patience.
Yeah, you're right there. I mean, I agree with you. Look at the low side. Got 3 trucks low, 2 up high. And those 2 trucks up high, as long as they can get the side draft and stay hooked up and don't overheat, they'll be able to battle themselves there. But they got a slew of a freight train on the low there in. As that 51, that's machine. That's Justin Fuller up top with the 9 there. Bobby Wetzel looking very, very good right now as we completed lap number 3 of 80. It's going to go by very quick. Let's look and see what's happening back here. What's going on, Chief, out there? And welcome everybody out tonight here. We're here live tonight, Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. The winter series of the trucks here tonight at Daytona. Let's see what's happening back here in the backside. We're back here with Malik Ray. He's still got his hands full back there. They are still stacked 2 to 2 all the way back there.
Yeah, a lot of cars with not a whole lot of places to go. And when you're Malik Ray, he's already actually up to 10th, so found himself a good line to be running in early on in this one. But it's the middle of the pack for Malik Ray, and a lot of those guys are in a similar position. Michael Guest qualified 22nd, currently up to 15th. Nicholas Cohan qualified 20th, up to 17th. Steve Minson about holding steady in 23rd with a bird's eye view of the entire pack in front of him. A lot of these guys in the back just running way up high, just in case a wreck breaks out. They have a perfect view of it, can kind of take some kind of evasive action.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you right there. These guys, man, definitely are wanting to pace themselves, so to speak. I know that's a hard thing to do as a racer. You sit and try to pace yourself. I know as when I raced a lot, that was something, man, that I tried to do. But again, I mean, you got to do it.
Yeah, that's certainly right. It's hard to be patient in these races because sometimes it just feels like you're just lifting around the entire track because of how much the draft will suck you up to the car in front of you. And so it's a lot of waiting around. It's a lot of, it really feels like sitting in traffic. And then when you actually have to go somewhere, it's almost a chess match trying to figure out exactly where to place your car to get the biggest run on the top, as we have a caution on this track.
Yeah, caution's on the field here. Wow.
That's a big one coming out of turn 4. They're still wrecking here.
Let's go back here on the replay and see what we got. And actually, Iracing's going to take me back to the wrong one there. Let's take it back one more time. Had a huge one. That was 62s involved. So we'll go back on the... It's actually Sean Dorr. I hate to see him get involved in that.
And actually, I don't have a good view of this because of warp at the moment, but it's exactly what I predicted just a few short laps ago. Right up front was not safe. These guys running in the top 5 taken out in this one.
Wow. And that's just how fast things can change here at Daytona International Speedway. Just like that. Car wreck on the front stretch coming out of turn 4 here. We'll get another view here just to see what happened. And the view here of Sean Dorr. We'll go take it on back just a little bit here. There we go. We're going to get a good shot here on what just happened on that replay. Now, Sean actually was running in the back there, and it happened up front where he was. Oh, yeah, right there. Wow.
And there were a few incidents in that. They were still wrecking in the after it seemed to have all gone away. There were a couple cars that slid back onto the racetrack entering the tri-oval, got a couple more involved. A few who had slowed down quite a bit for that crash to try to avoid it, but when it's up front, there's not a whole lot of places for some of these guys to go.
And here's the thing, no fast fix here, a lot of tore up machines right there. And the thing about it, when you have something like that happen, as we're watching this replay here for the viewers to see, I mean, it was like a train wreck happening up there. Those guys were in a formation, and the next thing you know, I mean, everybody just went scattered all over the place. Hate to see that. A lot of good trucks tore up here tonight. Well, they can get back out there and get running. Hopefully it doesn't mess them up too bad on trying to get this thing back under going.
Yeah, that's part of the game. And actually, one of the drivers in this race tonight, E.J. O'Rourke, who had started in 7th, not able to see where he's running right now, but he's one of those drivers got involved in an accident in the Super Speedway Series last Wednesday here at Sim500, and his car was so damaged that he couldn't keep up with the draft for the rest of the race. A wreck happens at the end. He finishes in 3rd.
Wow. Gotta love that.
So certainly it's going to be hard for some of these guys, but not completely out of it. We've seen far crazier things happen. So, and we're coming up on Friday the 13th, so maybe some of that'll catch over a little bit.
You're right. It is October, and I think I read somewhere the first time in October that Friday the 13th falls on the October. I think I read that somewhere.
That's interesting. That'd be really interesting if true. Now I want to look that up. And actually,
yeah, something like that. It's the first time in history it has here. I don't know, in the month. I don't know. I just saw it come across. You know how Facebook is. They always have some weird stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something to look up. We'll have to get a. If only Pedro was here, we'll just have him look it up right now.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, right now, man, it has been a good one so far, as these guys have definitely, I want to say patient, and they have been very patient, but right there was just a big one, and I think it was a product of bump drafting, too. I mean, what did you see on that one that maybe some of them guys could have done different?
Actually, I didn't see the beginning of that wreck at all because I was dealing with some netcode issues on my end. But that it seems like it's hard because it seems like the first one happens and no one really seems to learn from it. History has a way of repeating itself, and that's something where a lot of times the build will change in Iracing. It kind of changes the parameters of how hard you can really push on someone's bumper. Because a lot of times you're trying to help, and that's what triggers the wreck. So it's a dangerous thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, folks, we're here live tonight. Lap number 8 here under caution for the first time here at Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 right now. Well, we can do some interviews there for drivers. Not a lot of them here in the actual TS, but we could pull up some as the lights are still on the pace car. Actually, anybody in particular, Harris, maybe you got an idea? We want to see maybe if we can get hold of one of these drivers out here. Let's see if the lights on the pace car go off first.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it'll be one to go this time by, but let's see.
If it's one to go this time by, we definitely will get somebody up here the next time. Because I got a feeling, now if this thing goes green the entire way, my hat's off to these drivers out here also.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a lofty goal at this point. It could happen, but
yes.
Yeah, I think we'll get the chance to catch up with somebody next caution.
Sure. EJ, all right. Well, JD says he wants EJ, so we'll put EJ on our radar for next time here. And hopefully these guys, man, it goes green the entire way, so we don't have to talk to anyone. Actually, let me just make sure I don't tell you wrong out there, JD. Make sure EJ is actually in our. He might not be in here for us to interview.
Yeah, it certainly would help.
Yeah, I don't think he's in here, so we might have to get another pick for us, JD. As we're getting set here to go back green flag racing. Harris, been a good one here. It's going to be lap 10 when they cross the line for the green flag this time. Nice.
Yeah, and Thomas J. George, no practice, qualified 17th, already in the top 5, and I think George saw that first wreck happen, and now he wants to be ahead of the next one. I think they're hoping for a little bit cleaner action up there now that the first big wreck has come and gone. there had to have been at least 15 plus trucks that have gotten some kind of damage from that first caution.
Absolutely. I mean, definitely, you got a lot of trucks out there. And JD said, what? Yeah, EJ's not in here, but here we go. Getting set to go back green flag racing here. As pace cars coming out of turn number 4, heading off into the tri-oval. Gonna let these machines roll. Pace cars in. Here we go, folks. I'm gonna ride back here with Leak, but you listen to these monster trucks storm to life. Green flags, a complete lap number 9 here of 80 in the books tonight. Daytona 500 style. It's a Daytona International for the Sim500. How's that? Out front, the 54, Tim Matthews, looking good. He's got that 57 right there on the high side. That Toyota trying to take the high line on him, but he's got the 5 machine of Thomas coming right there on his back deck lid.
Yeah, and certainly that was a quick move by Nick Cohan. He doesn't have any help behind him on this one, but something you noticed on that last restart that you'll notice here every restart usually is that ordinarily the leader would kind of set the pace and go when he can, but on a super speedway here at Daytona or at Talladega, they'll wait for the green flag to actually fall because the leader doesn't want to get that far out on the field. He needs help to stay up there, so he doesn't want to be a sitting duck up there and just get flown by the pack.
No, absolutely. You don't want to get too far ahead because these guys will run you down in a hurry. Right now, the 54, Tim Matthews out front, got the number 5 glued to his tailgate as they will go 2 by 2 up there. And the guys on the high side behind him, the 51 up high and the 96 down low as they storm out of the turn here to complete this lap. Coming down the back stretch is going to run over the camera here tonight. And I called that 51 last time we were here. Justin Fuller, he's got the popcorn machine out there. So he's definitely a bacon around this track here at Daytona.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they used to call Jimmy Spencer Mr. Excitement, and I think that's kind of what Justin Fuller brings to the table. There's never a boring lap when he's on the track. And we've seen him working the high line all race long so far. Right now, aggressively pushing, I believe that's the 96 of Steve Minson. And it is. And now, so Steve Minson, by the way, started in the back. He was second that time by 300ths behind Tim Matthews. Matthews led that lap, but it's looking like with Justin Fuller behind him, Steve Minson might be get a lap led here before long.
Absolutely. We're side by side here. We're showing one side, the Blimpy Cam. I call it the Blimpy Cam. Everybody loves Blimpy. I like Blimpy, but we'll just call it the Blimpy Cam because it is a cool, different shot here to show this facility here at Daytona and to show everything that's going on. And right now, these guys storming around this track. They are still locked up side by side up top there, and the 54 is still out front. He's got help behind him, though, but you've got two trucks up top, 2 trucks down low. That 09 machine looks like the 03 machine, excuse me, Nathan Bowers. He is not quite close enough. He's closing in on him now, though, to help him with the draft.
Yeah, what Tim Matthews is happy to have that 5 of George behind him. Obviously, he's given him some great pushes to keep him out in front of the field. Tim Matthews again led that lap. And while he does have George, sometimes you get a car in the middle of the bottom of the pack there that has a little bit of trouble keeping it to the bumper, and sometimes they have a little bit of damage, sometimes they don't. Creates a really difficult situation for that bottom line, and that's really when the top line opens up and people are able to take advantage of that because it's farther distance and you need to carry a little bit more speed. But as Thomas George going way up high with the help from Nathan Bowers, but I think we're going to see Tim Matthews stay out front here when it all clears. Nick Cohan goes to the back of the 5.
Yeah, it is. Well, I saw that. That was real close there of almost another contact with the guys getting together. As up front, they are definitely bumping. You got to be very careful in the turns. You don't want to do too much bump drafting in the turns. But right now, on the bottom side, you got the 54 machine still out front of Tim Matthews and Thomas George right there in that 5 on his back deck lid. But on the top side, hang on to it there. That man in the 5 on the top, 51 behind him. 57, though, is coming to charge to help out that 5 machine as they're going to bring the tandem up there. Looks like the high line now is moving.
Oh, absolutely. And Nick Cohan just aggressively pushing. That's the first time we've seen Tim Matthews lose the lead on the top like that. And it's Thomas George who was able to do it. Thomas George, who was helping Tim Matthews before. But now he's working with someone else at this point. Fuller switching down to the bottom, even though he was higher earlier for really all of this race. But I think Fuller has the lead in sight. He's going to try to push Matthews way out there, maybe get in front of George, and then hope for George. So these guys are all planning laps ahead. That's exactly what's going on inside Fuller's mind right now, if I had to take a bet.
It is nerve-wracking. Is another thing you got to think about it up here. You're running about 190 mile an hour, inches apart from each other. They storm out of turn 4 to complete lap number 15 in the books tonight of 80 around here at Daytona International Speedway, folks, here for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. They're going to try to take it 3 wide upsides. They're going to split that 51 and see what they can do. They do for the lead.
Yeah, Thomas St. George is way up high trying to take advantage. Fuller, I was kind of proud to be able to predict that. Fuller went above Matthews, but a little bit too soon, though, as the 5-car Thomas George, with help from the 57 of Cohen, is looking like he's going to take a lot of advantage of all that momentum that he built up straight back to the bottom. Now the 57's looking high on him, does not tuck back in line behind him.
Yes, he does. At the 5 storms to the front there, Thomas George, and he's got the 57 glued onto his back deck lid there, the tie side. And I tell you what, these guys are jockeying around. And again, we just said nerves of steel. That's what you got to have out here at Daytona. Oh, and that's not what you want to see. A truck blinking in front of you, definitely inches apart. You know, you got to have confidence that the guy behind you in front of you. If not, well, it's not so much all about you out here when you plate track racing. You got to have a person that's going to bring you to the dance and help you out. And sometimes they leave you at the dance. So it is you got to have a helper.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the difficult parts about this type of racing. Especially used to see it with the tandem style drafting. It would be absolutely necessary at all times. A little bit easier to play it on your own, but it's still one of those scenarios where at the end of the race, if you don't have somebody that you can work with, you're probably not going to end up anywhere. Or if you do, you could go from 1st to 7th, 8th, 12th in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing that we're looking at right here. As the lead has changed so many times here tonight, the 57 and Nicholas Cohan out front. Thomas George right there along with him as a 4-truck breakaway here. Not really a breakaway, but they are in a freight train as the 4 trucks up top trying to bring that high side along. And they are still storming down the backstretch, folks. 193. Look at that right there. Riding along, Timothy Matthews getting a run on the inside. He's got 4 trucks going to come to life with him as they head into turn 3. Did I lose you? I don't know where Harris might have fell asleep with all the excitement going on. Don't know what happened with him. He'll be back. Probably a little technical difficulties on his mic. Look at this move up front, though. The 57 and Nicholas Cohan trying to hang on for dear life. He's got the 54 of Tim Matthews right there on his back deck lid, pushing him around this track. But look at the Storm powerhouse on the top side. That is the 5 and 51. The 5 would actually be Thomas George there, and the 51 machine of Justin Fuller. He comes on the high side as they will take it, break out of the turn here. They're still going to go side by side. Get back with me again, Harris. They can still have him take. He'll chime in when he gets this thing fixed. I'm gonna keep going because the action's nonstop. The 4 machine, the lap car, got out of the way right there. Very, very professional end on his end right there. 3 trucks up high. You've got about 4 down low right now as they storm around this track. They go on lap number 20 here of 80 so far here tonight, folks, in the books. Daytona International Speedway Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. And you're looking Thomas George out front. He's the man who's putting that snap-on machine. He says, I got enough tools to fix this thing, and I'm looking good. But the popcorn man himself in the 51 up top there with Justin Fuller, he's got help with the 54. The 54 machine of Tim Matthews. So you got 3 trucks high, 4 trucks low, storm of slew of trucks in the back there. As it looks like we got a lot of them are split up right now. And we'll see what's happening in the back here, though. I think we're riding around with Malik Ray back here. We'll go side to side with you. Truck in the wall up top. Looks like a lap truck right there. That's also the number 8 machine. He got a little loose. Wow. When you go through this whole entire field here, it is just non-stop action. Front side, middle side, and all the way in the back side. And we'll see if Harris is back yet. I haven't heard him chime in yet.
Oh, I was having all kinds of internet issues, and assuming that it might be assuming it could be a laptop, I'm trying the second laptop. We're going on the backup engine right now.
Okay, good deal. Well, just let me know, man. Hey, chime in when you get it all taken care of. I told him, I said out here, I said, Harris, he'll just yell up when he gets back in here, and we'll get going again. Right now, they are in a dogfight up front here, Harris. These guys are not giving an inch. Nobody told them or got the memo or the email to them that said it's only lap 22 of 80. They think it's the last lap, every lap. 5 out front, Thomas George behind him. He's got the 3 machine. Nathan Bowers right there, storming to the front and helping him push that snap-on machine up. But on the high side, though, Timothy Matthews, he's looking good. On the inside of them, we got the 84. Look at that. We got a nose back end full of a Toyota right there.
You know what? Sometimes it gives you a false sense of security. You get that first big wreck out of the way. You think, hey, maybe some of the crazier guys up front are out of the way now, and we could just ham it out for the lead. But, you know, that usually leads to a little bit more trouble. But a lot of those guys up front, part of why they're racing so close and so hard right now is because they know each other. Whether it's competing in Sim500 or other leagues or just in the official Iracing sessions. But a lot of these guys know who they're racing against and the other drivers' tendencies, and it gives you that ability to be just that much more aggressive.
Yes, it does, and you're right. And also, the fact is, we don't have a fast fix here, so that actually puts a different mentality when you're a driver. But they are definitely still racing very hard up front. Another lead change up there, I believe. The number 54 brings it to the front side. That's Tim Matthews right there. I've been calling him Timothy Matthews. Don't know why. It just kind of rolls off the tongue, I think. So Tim Matthews is actually who it is. And as I say that, a drag race for the 57. 57, I think, beat him right there to the line. And that would have been an awesome finish. And I think we're set for an awesome finish here tonight, Matthew Harris.
That's exactly one of those things where every single lap could be a photo finish. It seems like most that we have seen. And what's going to play the role, though, is drivers, now that we've gotten some green flag laps, are looking at their fuel mileage, trying to gauge just exactly what to do. Something as simple as they'll kind of do the calculations and try to figure out exactly to the gallon how much fuel to put in the trucks, because saving that 1 second on pit road could be the difference after green flag pit stops of being in the lead draft or not.
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about green flag pit stops. I think we will see them shortly here. That caution came out about lap number 6 or 7. So they can go probably about 21, 22 laps here. And right now these guys have been going or working on lap 25. So I'll probably say about the next 3 to 5 more laps, we'll probably see some green flag stops. Don't know the precise fuel that they run here, but normally just by the back of my mind, I believe that's what we're going to be looking at is the 54 to 03, and Nathan Bowers still up front. I mean, it is just changing. These guys, man, are changing the lead up front faster than we change socks in the morning.
That's absolutely right. And it looks like they're just going to be trying to do that pretty much all race long. You know, it's interesting because usually when a wreck breaks out up front, you kind of expect things to calm down for a little bit, but we haven't seen that at all. If anything, we've seen the opposite.
Yep, absolutely. You're right. 100% here. And I think right now, what we're seeing is that now the 57's dropping off. Nicholas Cohan, he dropped back to the back. He might be looking like he's wanting to come out of this front side here. I believe we've already had a few trucks do some green flag stops. So I think he's probably measuring it up here. And we just got out there, flat. I'll say that's flat bearded racer said that close to 45 laps on a full tank. Okay, so that means they're working probably on about 80 to 90%. A pretty good fuel load here.
No, that's absolutely right, and that's really where all the strategy comes in, as far as trying to figure out, like, they don't want to add any more than they have to when they get down to the later parts of this race, and so that's something they'll be figuring out all the way through. Some of them might cut it a little bit short to keep even a little bit of less gas in their car, to make that, knowing that they're going to make 2 pit stops, they can afford to make both a little bit shorter than they have to, and so that's another reason why you're going to see some of these guys not take tires. Depending on how the trucks are handling, sometimes you get a little bit tight on entry, a little bit loose on entry here at Daytona. But my prediction is these trucks are handling pretty well, but I'm not out there, so hard for me to say.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. As far as tires go, you're not as hard on tires here. But look who's coming to the front side there. Joey Katina. Man, we haven't talked about him. The man in the 14 machine bringing it to the high side. Got Red Bull behind him there. And man, see, he got wings and going to help him fly to the front here. tonight live here at the Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. Like I said, we are still seeing some bad fast drivers out here doing a lot of bad fast things as Joey is taking that thing to the front. Justin Fuller right there along with him. And as we see, this field's getting spread out. We got a lot of guys doing some green flag stops right now.
Yeah, you'll see different strategies here. Sometimes people just want to get away from that lead pack, and so they'll come down pit road, find a little bit of space, work with some people where they're going to try to mimic the lead pack's draft times, if not go a little bit faster. But that's one of those things, different strategies pretty much at every track you go to. Here, it's same thing, just for different reasons.
Oh, lap car up there in the wall. Got tagged behind by another one there. Not quite sure what number that was, but wow, that was real close. Could have been disastrous because they had to come through there. We got a truck blowing up. Luckily, he's getting off onto the infield there. You see him in the back. It's just how close and how narrow it can be here sometimes. You got to be just very patient.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. And with the way they feel while you're driving one of these trucks, sometimes you'll be an inch or two just a little bit too far to the right, and that's the difference. You're not dealing with very much room here. It's not like you're on a highway and you got 5 feet, 10 feet between you and the car next to you. They're running on your door. They're trying to shorten the distance. If they're running the outside, you have to be pretty much perfect. And you know what? Nobody's perfect.
Absolutely not. Right now, though, these guys being very patient. Joey Katina up front in that 14, but on the high side, you got 2 trucks right there. That's the 25 machine of Chris. What is it? Gabu? Is that right?
I've always hoped that it's Gabo, but
okay.
I've never spoken to him, so I should ask, though.
Yeah. We'll, you know what, folks? I know, and I've said it a million times. Last names, sometimes these guys got some unique ones, and I try to get them right. So I'm going to go with Gabu for right now. Actually, I'll just go with Chris, and that'll be a lot better than try to mess it up. And but he's looking good. Got that 25 machine up high right now. He's got the Red Bull. He's out here definitely flying around here like he's got wings. He's got help, though, by the 54 machine there, Tim Matthews behind him.
Yeah, and Tim Matthews has been really pushing for the front this entire race long. And Tim's one of those drivers where he's going to be a factor as we go throughout this season. He's an incredibly fast driver. Sometimes you get the impression that some drivers would be really good at a specific form of a specific type of track and not really translate over to Daytona Talladega just because of how different it is.
Absolutely.
But Tim Matthews, not one of those people.
Hey, absolutely. Well, hey, you want to welcome everybody out there in the chat here tonight, and definitely love seeing everybody out there. If you like what you see, hit a like, hit a share, hit a sub first time around. If you don't like what you see, well, hey, you can always hit a dislike too. And I play other stuff here that you can actually watch, like golf or fishing, if that makes you more excited in this racing. Because I'm going to tell you, if you don't get excited for this here, if the goosebumps don't get jumping up and down, I don't know what will, because this has been a non-stop race of these guys just being right here, nose to tail on each other.
Yeah, you pretty much can't look away in this one, and the drivers can't be slacking on anything that they're doing, because every second matters right now. And as we've seen people go with the green flag pit stop strategy, this is a situation where you pretty much just have to be on top of your game.
And you're right, and it looks like right now, as we're looking here on side to side here, we're seeing a whole pack of trucks here in the back, just trying to get all these guys, because we still got about 34, 33 trucks still out here alive here at Daytona running around. Got a few of them that are out. Scott Formosa, Braden Whitaker, Sean Dorr, Michael Guest, and Jonathan Cottle, most notably, are the ones that are out of the race here tonight so far. Several of them a lap down. Jason Swan, 20 laps down, but hey, still out here trying to get points. Points are of the utmost importance. And, you know, definitely championship. EJ O'Rourke, 2 laps down. He must have got caught up a little bit in that one, but he's definitely out here trying to truck around. That's just how fast things can change here in the course of a lap, in the course of just a half a lap. An accident can happen, the big one. We saw it early on. These guys have been patient ever since then, Harris. It's going to be looking good. As I say that, look at the move, and Chris almost gets turned.
Oh, it's non-stop action up there, and I'll be trying to get back in there in 1 second here. Actually loading up on the second laptop, but I should load up the broadcast is what I should do.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit on delay, but hey, either way, whatever works. I'm gonna tell you what, but Chris up there almost got pushed out, and it could have been disaster for those front runners there. A little bit of bump drafting. We talked about bump drafting here. It's going to happen. You got to. It's a plate track to get around this place. The problem is several places don't want to bump draft. Going in the turn, middle of the turn, really coming out of the turn, and then going into the tri-ovals. Those are the places that you want to try to stay away from bump drafting. Obviously, unless it's the last turn, last lap, and you're just trying to go, and then you're in the game on from that point.
Yeah, and Daytona is kind of notorious with the tri-oval like that because you see it a lot in real life. Just as far as the banking, I think it's only about 16 to 18 degrees versus the 33, 34 that you have in the corners. And so the car gets really, really light. You don't have that banking to catch the race car, and the back end just wants to come around. Interestingly, in Iracing, I kind of feel a little bit looser going through the Talladega tri-oval than I do Daytona. There's a bit of a rut that your right rear tire kind of digs into, and then it continues sliding down into the infield. But you do have so you don't have that rut here at Daytona and Iracing, but you do have the general looseness. If you're on the edge of looseness, or if you haven't taken right side tires all race or anything like that, it can really make the tri-oval a handful.
Yeah, you're right. I'll agree with you there. Talladega seems to have more of a bump there going into the tri-oval, and if you hit that bump just right and then get bumped in the rear just right, can send you spinning. I've done it before, raced many races here, but still see these four trucks up top here though. Joey Katina, Jimmy North, Justin Fuller, Tim Matthews, all four of those still are nose to tail. They've kind of broken away from the fifth place man there, Thomas George and Nicholas Cohan, who have just kind of walked back a little bit. And we were watching a slew of trucks back there in the backside. I mean, this green flag pit stop has really messed up because the top five, well, let's say the top four, are all nose to tail about 2/10. You got to go back about another half second to the next guy, and then you've got two trucks right there within them. That would be 6 and 7. So there you go. We talked about it. Little packed.
And what really opens you up to that strategy is the fact that, they're not going down there and taking 4 tires of fuel, and it's not a 25-second lap time. It's not a 30-second lap time. You have the time to get down there, put some gas in there, take lefts if you want, and get back out there, and you're not at risk for losing a lap. But you are at risk if you don't have any drafting partners once you come back out on the track. So there's definitely a lot of choreography going on there. But if you have a dancing partner, or if you have 4 or 5 trucks in a row to work with, that's where it comes out, and that's where you're able to come out just unscathed and not lose that lap.
Yep, absolutely. You're right there. I just want to look high and wide here with the blimp cam again. Here, called Blimpy Cam. Kind of gives us a good perspective of how far these trucks are apart from one another, and the awesome facility here at Daytona International Speedway. As we're live here, got 43 to go here tonight for the Sim500 Monday Night Money series. We appreciate everybody coming out here watching this one. As something I like doing here at Harris, we like doing here at OSRNetwork. We call it the Speed Cam. And well, it's time, man, to crank this thing up and let these guys hear the sight sounds and the motoring of these boys rumbling around Daytona. All right, folks, well, I'll tell you what, there is an awesome sound. If that does not make you excited and get you fastened out of that seatbelt and your recliner and get you running around the house doing some jumping jacks, and get your blood pumping, your hair jumping up down your skin, I don't know what will. Obviously, you might want to go set an appointment for the doctor tomorrow because you might need some medication or some help. Either way, that is awesome to hear the thunder sound of these guys roaring around Daytona here live tonight for the Sim500 Monday Night Money series. And like old JD out there, the broadcasters don't get a union break. Well, we're just trying to give y'all a break from us up here yapping so much. How's that? But it's been an awesome race so far. Justin Fuller's the man out front. Tim Matthews right there on his back deck lid. Got a 4-truck breakaway up there. Joey Katina sitting in the 3rd spot. Jimmy North right there in 4th. And they have been that way for the last, probably several laps, but the last 10 laps or so, because we got 39 to go here tonight. Live Daytona International here. It's the race number 2 of the winter series for the Sim500 Monday Night Money. And it's been a very, very good one so far. But let's go on back here to the back here. We're going to show you side by side here on the 15th place back here with Paul Nicholas Cooper. You see a freight train of trucks. These guys, I mean, that is definitely a freight train. As Harris is, he's going to chime in when he gets his, he's switching computers on us here. The man over there, he's a multitasking technician.
We just had a lot of issues, and actually I might be back here using the secondary laptop, or at least for as long as it accepts the server doesn't kick me out, but I think we're good now. Yeah, I was thinking about with Justin Fuller is I don't have trading paints going at the moment, but if I recall right, he was in the popcorn machine last week.
Yes, that's what I'm still showing him in.
And Justin Fuller, maybe that, I was calling him Mr. Excitement earlier, like you always want to watch Justin Fuller, and maybe that's what he's getting at. Grab some popcorn, I'm in the lead.
Absolutely, why not? Get some butter, put on that thing, throw some salt if that's what you like, because he is definitely popping it high out there. Looks like the Jiffy Man running around. And it is awesome as that truck is out front. Justin Fuller in the 51. He's got Tim Matthews, though, right there on his tailgate saying, look, we'll have a tailgate party here at Daytona if you don't hurry up. I know you got a Chevy, but I got a Toyota about ready to tow, hitch on the back end of that thing and go around you here as they are nose to tail storming around just on a Monday night drive right now.
Yeah, and actually the 5-car, the 10 of Kevin Pearson spins entering pit road, but the 5-car, I saw Thomas George, I don't believe this is going to bring out a caution, but the 10-car, Kevin Pearson, has spun around as they were trying to get to pit road, and if that did not bring out a caution, which I don't believe it did, that's just one of those mistakes that's killer that you just cannot make up, and that's why these guys practice these green flag pit stops during practice, because you basically get one shot at it to just nail it. And you need to be perfect, and a lot of times it catches people off guard because they're not braking obviously in these corners, and then they get on the brakes for pit road, realize their brake bias is a little bit too low, and around she goes.
Absolutely. Did not bring out a caution. I think he got off the racing surface. That's the one thing about here, tracks like here, Michigan and so forth. If you get off the racing surface in time, iRacing will not throw a caution, and they're in control of that. To throw the caution. The admins normally wouldn't unless it's just something way bonkers or out of the ordinary that they would have to, but they let iRacing control that. And if you're off on the apron, off through the grass or somewhere like he was, far enough off the track, it won't throw it. So that's why that was. But you're right. He was coming into pit road with a slew of other trucks. Looks like he might have just had a little help, slowed down a little too much. Truck behind him just didn't anticipate it, and boom, they got together.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And meanwhile, up front in the safe place right now, Justin Fuller, Tim Matthews, Joey Katina, and Jimmy North. And I know Joey Katina and Jimmy North are probably working together. Not sure if Fuller and Matthews are any kind of teammates or unofficial teammates, but Fuller might be kind of his own up there. And that's also one of these things that you have to be aware of when you come up on green flag pit stops. You want to communicate with others when you're going to come down pit road. And sometimes you get in that spot where it feels kind of lonely and you don't think anyone's going to come down there with you. And so that's where Fuller is a bit vulnerable right now in case Tim Matthews and the others don't follow suit. He wants to time that pit stop to where it's not going to cause a loss of track position when he comes back out onto the racetrack.
Yeah. Hey, you're true with that. We're riding along here with Joey Katina just to see what he's doing kind of show you what he's looking at. And actually, he's coming into the pits.
Oh, yeah, it looks like all those leaders are coming down pit road right now. Joey Bettina gets woed up. Got Tim Matthews right ahead of him. Fuller entered pretty nicely. He might have to back it down on exit just to let these guys be on his bumper. And that's another one of those unexpected, I was a little too good. I got to back it up a little bit so that I can be better on the racetrack. As the 84, Jimmy North actually missed his pit stall. This is going to be really costly for the 84.
Yeah, it is, man. I'll tell you, that's something we just don't you see a lot of it every once in a while. These guys out here definitely have to. And that's the 84, like I said, the Cobalt machine out there. It's running pretty good at the time. Started 29th. It's currently sitting at 15th right now. So let's see what it does hurt him here on the track. I mean, he can get that back up. That's one thing about Daytona, Talladega, and all those tracks. You can lose some time. As long as you got a dancing partner, like we said, you can get back up there and make it back up.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, looking at the 48 car Pedro Mega, he got sideways leaving pit road. Maybe it was a little bit less grip on the older tires than I think. When I've had that before at Talladega. You come out of pit road, you think you've got all the grip in the world, you could get this thing sideways, but Pedro was drifting in turns 1 and 2 on the apron. Absolutely drifting. Ken Block would be jealous.
Absolutely. 48 machine there. Pedro Mega hadn't really talked much. Started 13th, currently sitting in the 15th spot. He's going to try to get hooked up with either these two trucks coming up on him or those three up there at the top, maybe to get a good draft going. Right now he's by himself. Not what you want to see, kind of like a sitting duck in water there. But he's going to have some help here coming up behind him shortly. So he'll be able to get back up to speed and definitely have some things there. 32 to go. Here's the question, Harris. If there's no caution that comes out, can they go the entire distance?
I actually have not been running the numbers, but as long as they're on a full tank, or at least 3/4 of one, they should have no problem. As Chad Cole just came down pit road with Steve Vinson, and a couple others came along suit. The leaders who had just inherited the lead came down pit road. Now Chad Cole was very borderline, close on speeding. Looks like he did not get a speeding penalty, but I know his heart just about came out of his chest. It must have been beating so hard because he flew in there and just locked it down.
Hey, that's what you got to do to pick up some time right now. We talked about Pedro Mega. He is definitely hooked up with a draft right here. He's going to have the 2, and I believe, I'm not sure, the 2 and the 68 is Scott. I call him Scott Smiley, folks, but it's actually Scott Simley. I looked at his name real quick one night, and I said Smiley because it's a S-I-M. I looked at the screen, and if you kind of flip that around real quick, it looks like Smiley. But the man is smiling right now. Currently running at 12th, looking good in that 68 machine. He's got his partner behind him, Mike Kelly, the number 2. And like we said, Pedro Mega. But look at this slew of trucks right there. You got a whole mess of them, and we're under caution.
Oh, and it's the 84 Jimmy North. So and that's one of those things. You make one mistake, it seems to compound. And that's not to say that Jimmy North's destroyed truck right now is his mistake. We're about to find out as we back it up here. But Jimmy North made one mistake. It put him in a spot that he ended up crashed out of this one. He just destroyed the 84. We'll have to see how it started. Looks like he got some help from behind. Not sure who that was behind him, but
yeah, right now it looks like the 44 E.J. O'Rourke's right there on his back. Oh yeah, they just bumped a little bit coming out of the turn. Don't know if the little net coat or anything involved, but you're right. Destroyed that truck of the 84 up into the wall, flipped it around. Wow, that thing is destroyed, like you said. And unfortunately, E.J. O'Rourke, not the night that he wanted either. It's not one that he's wanted to start like.
No, not at all. And EJ actually won the Wednesday Truck Series Championship last season, but it has not been a good start for him in this Monday Night Money Winter Series.
No, it has not. He did. You're right. He won the Truck Series last time, but definitely not the night he's been wanting, or the start to a season that he's been wanting here for this guy. And we're going to have to see. Now, do you come into pits now since it's under caution?
I think it entirely depends on how it handles going through a long run. I haven't heard any big handling complaints.
Lost you. Well, we lost Harris there for a second. He'll come back. Still just lighting up. I promise you I did not kill his mic, folks. He's still here.
Oh, there we go. Am I good now? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh man, I was thinking there, I think the trucks are handling well enough that tires are not becoming an issue. There have been some scenarios where here at Daytona, especially more so than Talladega, it seems like on the long run we've seen either just a tight condition or a loose condition, and but here it seems like everyone's pretty stable. I think once you're good on fuel, the old frame of thought, going back to the old NASCAR 2003 days where a lot of these drivers came from, is hey, if it can just hold the speed, let's give me the track position. I just want to be up there on the low side, on the high side, whatever lane is working, and give me the least amount of fuel and give me as far up front as I can possibly be.
Well, here's my other question to you. And normally when we would be within about 15 or 10 to go, like we did though, even though we are talking about it here, we've already seen a lot of what we're talking about. A lot of guys did come down on pit road, take some tires and fuel at them full fresh old rubbers down there and get them on that thing. Goodyears, that's what they call them. And Sunoco race fuel. We're at lap 29 to go, so why not at this point come in? I mean, you could be in the back of this field and still come to the front.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And there is enough time. I saw a lot of cars that stayed out. It was actually people stuck a lap down. So that's what confused me there. But certainly, if you're in the back half of, if we have about 20 cars in the lead lap right now, certainly if you're in the back half of that top 20, if you see people coming down, either stay out just for that track position to gain 20 positions, or if a couple of those guys stay out, well, it's an easy decision for me to make. I'll just come down and give myself the most possible grip I could possibly have.
Absolutely, why not? I mean, you get that grip, because here's the thing: if they stay out, we got about 28 to go. Tire wear, even though we say tire wear is not important here, it does come into play if we have a very long green flag. Now, and I know, Harris, this right here is going to bunch this field up. And we saw before that this field did not get unglued, so to speak, until green flag stops. Thing about it is, from here on out, they're going to be nose to tail and bumper to bumper. And also, where there was patience before, forget about it. That's going to get thrown out, because we're getting to the point now, run what you brung. And it's, if you brung enough, go for it. Went off again on you.
I'm not sure if you can hear me now, but it's
Gotcha.
It's a little bit of an insurance policy too. When someone's on your bumper and all that aggressive pushing, you want to have the most tire that you can, so that it actually plays a role when you're bump drafting through the field. Or if someone gets into you entering turn 3, say it just gets you that little bit of yaw, a little bit sideways. Sometimes there are scenarios where you're just bump drafting in the middle of a pack, and older tires are actually harder to hold on to, whereas you could get away with a lot more with new fresh rubber. So I think that's heavily on these guys' minds.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right there. Well, here we go. We're going to set this one up. And you know what? No, I forgot again. I forgot to get doggone interviewed to tell JD wanted out there. But actually, EJ's not in the team speak here, so we can't pull him up here, get on down there to the pit road and get a talk with him. But I tell you, after the race, we definitely will try to get a word in with EJ O'Rourke if we possibly can. So if anybody's out there listening, EJ, if you're listening, hopefully not, but if you are listening, jump up on here after the race, man. We did get a talk with you, as JD wants to know what it was like out there for you. So we're getting set to go back green flag racing, folks. We're here live, Daytona International Speedway, Sim500 Monday Night Money series here for the trucks. These guys are about to get it big here, so we're going to ride along on the one side with the Pedro Mega, as the pace car's taking these guys down the back stretch. Going to be interesting on this one. Going to be a lap. We're going to be 26 to go.
Yeah, and certainly on the front row, noticing Thomas George up there along with that 57 of Nick Cohan. We've seen a lot of that 57 so far in this short season, and we've seen a lot of him tonight working well with other drivers, a lot of aggressive pushing, but it seems like his aggressive pushing, from everything that I've seen, has stayed on the side of caution. He's been very smooth about it. I haven't seen him get anybody out of shape, and I feel like there's a good chance we see the 5 and the 57 hook up right now because of their pushing earlier as they come out of turn 4 here.
Absolutely. Coming out of turn number 4, that pace car is going to take that hard left turn off on pit road and send these monster trucks, man, roaring to life here as that man up front, Thomas George, is going to click them off. As here we go. Pace cars in. Green flag in the air. Listen to the thunder sound of the V8 horsepower coming to life as they come thundering across the line. They scoot off into turn number 1. They're going to be 2 by 2. The 5 machine, Thomas out front, 77 on his back deck lid. You got Nicholas Cohan up high. Well, he was, but he came in line. Now you got a four truck freight train, and you got 3 up top.
Yeah, and that's James Pasquarella. That's right, James Pasquarella, the number 77. Haven't really said his name yet tonight. He's found himself. I was wondering if the 57 would be able to find a gap there on the restart, but Thomas George went on the green flag. They all kind of left together, and Pasquarella there in that green 77 just taking up second place now. The outside, though, Mark Bratcher in that 86 truck. Bobby Terrell's working with him. Justin Fuller is behind Bobby Terrell. So that high side's coming to life. They're making a run there on the outside of third place there, about to be on the side-by-side for second.
Yeah, it is. They storm across the line, complete with 25 to go this time by. Heading off into turn number 1. The 5 machine of Thomas George still out front. You got James Pasquarella right there, the 77, all over his back deck lid, pushing him around this huge 2.5 mile super speedway. You talk about the high side, even my dog agrees with all the action here.
Certainly, everyone. We need a mascot, and what's your dog's name? That'll be our mascot.
Biscuit. He's back there. Yeah, and I got a bird that chimes in every once in a while too. So, yeah.
And I had Buffy chime in a couple of weeks ago. But Bobby Terrell actually did not stay on the high side for long. That 7 truck now on the bottom behind the 57 of Cohan. Not tucked up on his bumper, though. It seems like Terrell's giving a little bit of space. Meanwhile, up high, still Justin Fuller, he is behind the 86 of Mark Bratcher. And they got a nice run here as they head into turn number 1. I don't know that they can really make something happen with just 2 trucks. I feel like a couple of others will have to join their efforts here. But Mark Bratcher and Justin Fuller, they're holding it pretty strong on the outside with just 2 trucks.
Yeah, and they can here with trucks. Like I said before, the Cup car probably need a whole slew of them up there because you're right. Up top, 2 trucks there, the 86 and the 51 machine there. Mark and the popcorn man, we call him Justin Fuller. We're also split screen here on the side watching Pedro Mega come through the field, riding on board with him. Look at him power that number 48 machine up high as he's trying to bring it to the front there. Wow, that is a slew of trucks up there because the 48 now is making waves. He might be able to help these guys up front here. Like I said, Harris, hang on to your hair because it's about to get hairy up front here. These boys have got 22 coming to the line to go at Daytona, and it's a picking up front. Can you feel that, the tension in the air?
And Mark Bratcher loves it because that high side is growing larger. Pedro Mega, he was 16th 2-3 laps ago. Right now he's shown in about 7th or so above the 57 Nick Cohan. It's unbelievable this type of racing we've seen in this 80-lap race has been blowing by. These drivers know they don't have that much time left, and Mark Bratcher on the outside might just lead himself this lap.
Absolutely. Mark, he's coming to a drag race, but he is definitely going to get this one that time by. The 51 will take it high, though, again, as they swap it that side. He leaves his dancing partner that brought him. The 51 says, appreciate it, coming to the front. I got a guy behind me. We'll see how this works out. Let's see if he leaves him out to dry. You talking about Pedro Mega, though? He's up high there, so it's going to be 3 trucks high, 2 trucks down low. Here comes the Mega machine up top with the 48. He's coming to the front, folks. Hang on to it.
Oh, Pedro Mega is just, I called Justin Fuller Mr. Excitement earlier, but maybe I was wrong on that. But look at that. Those 3 trucks were on the high side. They ducked down to the bottom in front of Mark Bratcher. Bratcher's back to 4th. He just led the previous lap. Now it's Mike Kelly there that's behind Justin Fuller. Justin Fuller back out front just like not too long ago.
Absolutely. Up front, they are still battling it out. Tooth and nail, dog fight, man. Nonetheless, looks like a bunch of ants about to scatter along up front. Justin Fuller and that 51 machine's got Mike Kelly behind him, pushing him around. The 48, we just called him the Mega Machine. Pedro Mega has been able to power that 48 to the 3rd spot. Folks, the man started here tonight. Just to give you an idea, started in 13th, currently sitting in 3rd spot. And he's got Mark there glued to his back deck lid. It says Mr. Performance. Well, as we say, Pedro goes high. He's going to take the high line around here.
I think he saw that five truck of Thomas George and thought that George might give him a good chance of finding his way around the cars on the bottom there. It took them a second to catch that momentum, but it looks like they found it. And the 5 truck is going to be able to push Mega pretty aggressively for a little while. Those temps are not that hot yet. And, it looked like a questionable move at first just because of how quickly Mega faded, but how quickly he found that speed is now the two truck, and Mike Kelly comes right up in front of Mega. Justin Fuller is like hitting a brick wall of air.
Yes, he does.
Wall of air.
Yeah, you're right, but I'll tell you what, the 48 gave him a shove, took him to the front. Look at that, dives on the inside there. They cut off the 51's nose heading into the turn. It's lap 20. Now you got your business picking up front, folks. These guys are definitely starting to make a, what is it called? What's the word I'm looking for? The gutsy style moves up here. Wreck.
Oh, it's been a lot of,
That's going to collect the 5 also.
It was.
Yeah, the 5 machine's going to be involved now. It started right up front with those guys. Let's go back on the replay here. Yeah, let's go back here on the replay here. Let the viewer see exactly what happened. It actually started right there. Yep, the 7 and 5 just got together. No place to go. 7 going around like a helicopter. Several trucks involved. 29 to 5. 15, 18 machine, I believe, involved. A lot of good trucks there involved. Well, we knew it was bound to happen. It was like a tea kettle, water sitting on top of the oven, about to overflow and boil and start to whistle. We felt it up front. Those guys were racing very hard.
Yeah, you hate to see that. I had just mentioned Bobby Terrell being a little bit conservative there on the work in the bottom, and it seemed like he was doing all the right moves. What happened there was George was fading. He didn't have any help on the outside. And so he was trying to run as low as he possibly could through the tri-oval. Terrell was not completely against the yellow line, and he just the car on the outside just drove into him and hooked him. So it's just a situation where the 5 truck was trying to take this, and the 7 was just a victim. I feel bad for Bobby Terrell. A couple other trucks caught up in that too.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it seems to say Mike Kelly is our man who's going to be the leader here. And I've got Mike Kelly down there in the green room. We're going to try to get a word in with him real quick. So I'm going to bring up that man, Mike Kelly, who is currently leading this one. When we go back to green, we're probably going to have about 15 to go. So let's bring him up and see how he feels here in that truck tonight, in that number 2 machine. Mike Kelly, Joe White in the booth. Got a copy?
What's happening?
Well, I tell you what, it is wow, what a race here at Daytona International Speedway. You're out front. You think you got the trucks going to be able to pull it off here?
Oh, I have no idea what's going to happen here. It seems like the outside line can really get a run, but I'm just going to do what I can. I guess I got into the right spot at the right time.
Absolutely. Big, huge wreck there behind you. I know it was a lot of mixing going on up front there, but it's anybody's ball game up here. Daytona's one of these wild card races. We're going to have probably about 15 laps to go when we go back green. So you think you got enough to hang on and hold off those guys behind you, though?
Well, I'm going to give it all I got. If they go around me, I'll just mix it up and see if I can't work my way back up there. But honestly, I'm just trying to finish this thing, and top 5, top 10, I'll be happy.
Absolutely. Well, that's Mike Kelly, folks, right there. Tell you what, good luck out there tonight in that number 2 machine.
Thanks, guys.
All righty, good deal. If I can't get him placed back down to where he was. I think he was in. You in the admin one?
T1H.
T1H. All right, good deal. Appreciate it. T1H. All right. There we go.
It's a bit of a weird spot to be in when you find yourself up front of one of these races, because you know just how quickly things can change. You know how, we could get through this restart. Someone gets a run in the first corner on the first lap after we go back green, and it's over. So it's, at most tracks you feel really good about having that track position on the even tires and, after running up front all race. But for Mike Kelly, it's a lot of thinking going on. There's so much that can change in the final 15 laps here at Daytona that he doesn't know what to expect. He's just happy that he was ahead of trouble just now.
Absolutely. And just look at that. We got Pedro Mega right there, but look at that man in the 5th spot. Who is that? Malik Ray. Hadn't really talked much about him out there all day long, and he's done snuck up there, and he's hearing fit to try to come out with a good one. Jay Fuller out there, yeah. I guess he was commenting on Mike Kelly's comment of whether or not he had enough to get up there. So we'll just have to see. But you're right, Harris. That's the two things I like to tell everybody out there in the chat world. Well, obviously the last lap, that's the one we're looking for, lap 80. That's the end of it. 5 or 4 to go. Caution comes out. That's the end of it. So you got to keep that in the back of your mind when we go back green flag racing. Or you could only have about 10 laps to go or about 14 to go.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's just things change and things happen so quickly in Daytona. I mean, how could you even make a prediction? We've seen the lead exchange so many times. We've seen the Highline really have a lot of speed. And so, drivers are going to have opportunities to get up there. And so that really puts it into the hands. Pedro Mega up there battling for the lead. He was 16th 2 or 3 laps before that, went right to the lead. So, look at the guys who are running 16th right now. Steve Minton, Chad Coleman, Kevin Pearson, Rhett McBride. You could see any one of those guys. As long as they're not too damaged, they could find their way right back up there.
Yeah, it's not over with for any of these guys. Still got enough time to bring this thing to the front. It's a plate track. It is a who's who of a track here tonight. Daytona International Speedway, Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, folks. Been a thriller. Hope you've enjoyed it. I've loved calling it out here. I gotta say, we got a celebrity out in the chat, by the way, man. ETV Live himself, JD Webb, out there watching. So it makes me kind of nervous and the goosebumps jumping up and down on my hair a little bit to know he's out there watching. So, I hope we're doing good, Harris. How's that?
It's the return of the cowboy. He's walked into the saloon.
Absolutely. And we're just looking over like, everybody wants to be like the cowboy. Lone Ranger, there you go.
Oh, there's the new Red Dead Redemption coming out. Maybe he's doing a little PR. Get a real cowboy in here.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing these guys are about to try to do is tame these wild machines out here. They got a lot of horses, a lot of horsepower under the hood of them here with these trucks out here about to storm around. Like we said, Mike Kelly out front with a number 2. Pedro Mega, we call him the Mega Machine up there in the number 48. Looking good. The popcorn man himself right there. Number 51 of Justin Fuller going to be in third. Hey, Mark right there. He's in the 86 starting fourth. Malik Ray. Count him out. That man's a superstar in himself and starting to touch your top 5. So it's a who's who and a lot of big time name and talent sitting there about to start this race and get set here to go back green flag racing.
Yeah, and everything we just saw with all that hard racing, well, really throughout the race, it's kind of like going to school. Mark Bratcher, he just went to school. He drove up to the lead. He made a few moves. He tried to do the right thing. The main thing is he's still up there and he learned from it. And so if he's in the same exact position again, you could expect that 86 of Mark Bratcher to kind of play his cards a little bit differently. And that's exactly why you get aggressive earlier in these things so that you're prepared for, whatever gets thrown your way later on.
Absolutely. Here we go. Pace cars coming in at turn number 4. Folks coming out of turn 4. About to set these monster trucks to life here tonight. Daytona International Speedway. Here we go. Pace car is going to drop off. Take that hard left turn on pit road. Man out front, Mike Kelly. He's going to put the metal pedal to the floor, hammering through the gears. Green flag in the air. It's going to be 14 to go this time by, and they come to life here as they storm across the line side by side going into turn number 1. He's got help by the 51. Justin Fuller is pushing that 2 to the front.
Yeah, all the help right now on the bottom. Pedro Mega fading back a little bit because no one's on the high side. And you know what? No one really wants to be on the high side for that first corner, but that'll come in about another lap or 2, and then we'll see that high side work. As for now, the gap seems to be between Pasquarella and Joe Hudson, so Pedro will be able to get to the bottom here in a second. But as for up front, Mike Kelly right now leading the single file train.
Yeah, it is single file train. The top 4 machines right there. Actually 5. Pedro Mega probably will jump in the line behind them. You going back, everybody looks about single file right now, being a little bit patient on this restart. Well, like you said, throw it out the window. There you go. Here, high side's coming to life. And the first man to jump out there was the 57, Nicholas Cohan, and he's got company coming along with him. They're going to try to do the do-si-do all the way on the high. Look at that side drafting as he's turning into turn one here with with 13 to go. They'll come out in a huge wreck in the back.
I was looking for a wreck up there with this aggressive side drafting, but Joe Hudson, the 12 truck, all kinds of torn up. I'm going to back up the replay here to see exactly what happened. And actually, a bump draft gone wrong is the reason for this caution. Maybe a little bit of a net code helping that along, because the trucks probably didn't react exactly how they were guessing it would. But Chris Cabot got into the back of the 12 there, Joe Hudson.
Yeah, it is. I want to back it up here and let the viewer see what happened on this one. Just an unfortunate set of circumstances on his end there. That's like you said, the number 12 machine getting tore up here. We'll bring it back one more time here for this man. Old Joe Hudson here. If Iracing will cooperate with me, we'll bring it back. How's that?
It's always such an awkward situation there to be in. We saw it with Joe Hudson. We saw it with Jimmy North. That right hook when you just, it's the biggest extreme that you could possibly go, where you're okay and then you're headed just straight into the outside wall the wrong direction. You're not supposed to make those sharp right turns here.
Absolutely. Right here we go. We're going to see it. Yeah, the man behind him looks like there's coming out of the tri-oval, heading off into the turn. Maybe the wrong place to bump draft. Might have caught him just a little bit. I mean, it wasn't much. Doesn't take much either. Oh, 12 truck right into the wall hard. Hate to see that on his end. Hey, what's going on, Tom? How you doing? All right, well, see who else maybe we can get real quick up here and talk to. Who else is out here we can... Let's look through this, look through here and see who we can grab a hold of. Maybe talk while we're here on caution right fast.
Mark Bratcher's alone out there. We might be able to get a word with him.
Is he up here in our speech right now? Where's he at? There he is. Yeah. There he is. Yeah. I saw him. He's right down here. Let's bring him up here. Said Mark Bratcher. He's currently running in what spot right now?
P15, actually. 15th.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get to talk with him. So, you want to get to talk with him, Harris?
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll bring him up here.
And I'm here with Mark Bratcher, who just before that last caution actually went up high. And Mark, we saw you get the lead early, probably earlier. A lot of aggressive racing, just about 10 laps ago, and we saw you go pull to the back just now. Do you have a game plan here for the finish?
No, the only game plan I got is frustration right now. My truck just popped out of gear. I got a Logitech shifter and it failed me right there, and I don't know, what happened, but it just kept popping out of fourth gear and I couldn't get it to lock in. And by the time I got it finally locked in fourth gear, the field was gone. So it pretty much blew my chances tonight. The main performance PC Toyota Tundra, it was really fast tonight. And we recovered and raced hard and stayed focused, and just to have a shifter, just break on us right there, it's heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's certainly frustrating. And I don't know if it's much consolation or rather hope-inducing, but Pedro Mega was in 16th not long ago. That high side got going. As long as we get some green flag laps here in the final 10 laps. In about 3 laps, it developed, and he went from 16th to 3rd. So we're just hoping that the high side's there for you to see you up there battling for the lead again.
Yeah, we sure hope so. We're not going to give up. We're going to run it hard, and if I can find a truck right here with no damage and I can push them, I'll blow the motor trying to get them to the front if I got to. But hopefully we'll be back up there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We'll drop you back down to where you were.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You have a great night.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Harris, there you go. Man sounded kind of a little rejected there. Rightfully so. Had a very, very fast, good truck here all night long. Just a miscue and mechanical failure. Sometimes you just can't overlook things like that. It happens.
Oh, absolutely. I've been having mechanical failures from the booth tonight, so we're gonna
See, there you go.
We're gonna hope to avoid those next week. I think I learned everything I need to learn, and it won't happen again.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, not everything runs smooth on my end either. You can't sometimes predict internet, weather, and computer issues. That's just something you can't always predict. But I don't even know if we can predict this race here because it's still going to be anybody's ball game with 10 to go.
No, that's absolutely right. And, thinking about Malik Ray, who, I haven't seen too much of him tonight. And you mentioned just making his way to the top 5, kind of the Malik Ray sighting. As we get here closer to the finish, it's kind of like he smells the blood in the water. He's turned into a shark. Also, he had the front row seat of that last crash between Thomas George and Bobby Terrell when George hooked Terrell into the wall. And I don't think he could have got a closer seat than Malik Ray had just there.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing, man's got Skittles. So he definitely he's got a sweet tooth, and he's hoping to have a sweet foot out there, and he can mash it and make that thing go very fast and bring it to the front here and take the victory lane and put have the checkered flag here tonight.
Yeah, it certainly would not be Malik Ray's first win, but it would be his first win of the season. And something to think about there, Michael Guest, who won last week, well, he's not going to be winning this week.
No, not the night he's wanted. I mean, again, Daytona's one of those tracks. It's just like Talladega. It's a wild card shootout style race. It's anybody's ball game, so to speak. I always get, slammed for saying this. I call it the no skill track because, well, I compare it to tracks like a Martinsville or a Bristol. Yeah, to me, those tracks take a lot of skill, road courses or something. So that's what I mean when I say it.
I know what you're getting at, and you know what? I'm guilty of saying the same very often. But to play devil's advocate a little, it is interesting how you usually see the same guys excel at these tracks, and it's usually, there's so I always try to frame it as like, there is a lot more luck involved in this. There are more factors that you can't control. That's why you don't want to be in the middle of the pack. There are guys here who easily got involved in things that they had nothing to do with, in incidents that wouldn't happen other tracks. But, some guys just really, really excel at these tracks too. So it's interesting. It's like playing poker, There's strategy to poker, but there's a lot of luck to poker too.
Yes, there is. Here we go. Pace car's dropping off on the pit road here. Going to take that hard left turn as we're going to set Bo back the green flag running. As it's going to be 8 laps to go when they cross the line. And like I said before, we're going to be looking for the last lap here. Green flag in the air as they go by and storm off into turn number 1. That man out front, Mike Kelly, gets a good jump. Not too far, though, but here comes the 57 on the high side as he'll take it door to door there, try to get a little bit of a draft. Will the 51 go with him? No, leaves him out to dry, but here comes Malik Ray.
Oh, the 51 ended up going right back to the outside. I thought exactly like you did, that Nick Cohan had the momentum, decided to make a run at it, and I thought, if he doesn't get help, he's not going to have enough. But he eventually got the help. As they go to the bottom there, Cohan's in the lead, but we have a caution in the back here.
It's a big one.
Not able, the 2-truck, Mike Kelly, one of those involved. And I kind of feel bad for kind of alluding to anything can happen because, it really did for Mike Kelly. We're going to have to back up and see the replay here to see exactly what happened. But Mike Kelly was running in the top 5.
Him and Malik Ray got together going down the back stretch right there. Just tried to throw a little block. Problem is, a little bit too late. Malik had that inside on me. Sent the 96 flying up in the air also, just in front of everyone. But yeah, the 2, Mike Kelly was up front leading this one. Hard lick on his end. Hate to see that. Folks, it ain't over with, though. We're still going to go back green flag racing again.
Yeah, and a couple of these trucks that just flew by that crash, they gained a lot. They gained a few spots there. There was, I believe, I saw the 78. A few guys got a little bit of damage back there as they tried to avoid it. But wow, big turn of events for Mike Kelly there. I think that's one of those situations where Mike Kelly saw Malik Ray. Now Malik did get the nose in time. However, then he went a little bit lower on the track, and it's one of those things where Mike Kelly knew that Malik was flirting with the yellow line there. And so Mike was trying to be defensive, but they certainly met in the middle.
Yeah. Well, I hate to hate to see that on Mike Kelly's part right there. Definitely was just one of those racing deals. Went down there and went to throw a block on the one. The one had the position on him, and then they just collided together. And well, you know how that turns out. One gets the good end, the other one gets the bad end. Well, under caution, folks. Here's the thing. Wow, Harris, this is something as I don't know if you want to be the leader. So Nicholas out front, probably not the place. I don't say it's not what he wants to be. It's not where I would want to be, because when we go back green flag racing, we're only going to have about 3 laps.
Yeah, and you know, it's a shame that we had that caution, because it takes away a little bit of time for that high line to grow. And so it really puts it to where it's going to make the restart more important. It's going to make getting to the bottom for turn 1 more important. And that high side will develop, you know, even after just half a lap. So we're going to see the high side play a role in the finish of this one.
Yes.
But it's a lot less time.
As long as no caution, because the next caution that comes out will definitely end this one. Because by the time we go back green flag racing, folks, it's probably going to be about 3 laps or 2 laps to go when they cross that line. So keep that in the back of your mind. If it goes green and a caution comes out, that will end it. So that's another thing the 57 Nicholas has to think about. Stay out front as long as he can, but you know that high line, they're going to be double fouled, and they're going to be coming to the front. Now look at that. Pedro Omega still running in 4th. James Pasquarella sitting there in the 3rd spot. Justin Fuller still in 2nd. Malik Ray 5th. Rick McBride, hadn't really talked about him there in 6th. Chris still in 7th. Chad Cole, another one's moved up into 8th. Tim Matthews, hadn't heard of him in a while there, but he's in 9th. And Don Ruckel rounds out the top 10. Any one of those guys still have time to bring it to the front.
Yeah, you know what, Rhett McBride, I haven't mentioned him yet today, and last week he ran top 5 for a lot of that one, and he ended up finishing 8th, I believe, which was a little bit farther back than he ran. I think strategy kind of had him mixed up, but Rhett McBride last week had a lot of speed at a really tough Chicago racetrack. And then here at Daytona, he's kept his nose clean, and right now running 6th. And so, you know, he's going to be a factor.
Yep, absolutely. That's another thing we have to look at right here is, well, I just don't even want to guess who's going to win this one. I had a feeling it's probably going to come down to side by side and inches apart from each other.
We definitely have not seen the final lead change.
Absolutely not. Now, the 57 would probably be like, y'all two need to be quiet.
Yeah, I've jinxed enough people here tonight.
Well, you know, I hope he pulls it off. He's definitely been fast all night long. Nicholas Cohan has. You know, Justin Fuller's been up there. I mean, it's just any one of these guys are capable enough doing it. You know, we say there might be the last, haven't seen the last lead change, but we might not have seen the last big one either.
No, that's exactly right. As they're going for every inch, I mean, that's exactly what we just saw with Malik Ray and Mike Kelly. Now, magnify that times 1,000 when we get everyone on top of each other here. We're going to have an interesting final restart here just about in another lap, because desperation is high. They know they don't have time. They can't wait. They got to make every corner count, especially because of, like you said, a caution. The next caution ends the race. So
Yep.
A lot of these guys are predicting that caution to happen, and they want to get up there and get to the lead before it does.
And, you know, as a racer mentality, when you're that close to the lead, you go for it. Which, again, hey, with about 3 to go here, folks, it's run what you brung. Business picking up. You throw out all the guesswork, all the teammates, all the friendships is out the back there. I mean, look, you run your neighbor over at this point. You wreck your mama, man, with the win. I mean, that's just how it goes on the last lap. So, I mean, I'm stealing the turkey out of my kid's mouth, man, to get the win out of this one.
And you know what? I believe today is Canadian Thanksgiving, so that works even better than you think.
Yesterday was, because actually
yesterday.
I had some Canadians. I did a race last night, broadcast last night, and some people jumped in and said, yes, Canadian Thanksgiving, and lo and behold, they have the same thing we do, turkey and everything else. I was interested. I was like, really? I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, it always catches me by surprise. It seems like every year I fail to remember, but, well, Thanksgiving leftovers then.
Absolutely. There we go. Well, here we go. These guys are getting set here to go back green flag racing here tonight. As they're coming down to the back stretch here, as that pace car is taking that lonely stroll around this huge 2.5 mile super speedway here, Daytona International. And when they cross the line, we'll be 3 to go. Keep in mind, folks, the next caution that comes out will put an end to this one. There is no green, white, or overtime here, so we'll put an end to it. And keep that in mind as here we go, getting set to go back green flag.
And as they work their way around turn number 4 here, Nick Cohan, I've been talking about his great pump drafting all night, but you know what? Fuller has been very similar. James Pasquarella in third has shown us some good drafting in that last one. Pedro Mega also came from the back. Malik Ray came from the back. A couple of names here that are going to join the mix here. So once the pace car goes down, I think you'll see them wait a little bit. I don't think Nick Cohan wants to get much of a jump on anybody. I think he wants that 77 glued to his back bumper.
Absolutely. Pace car's in, jumps all the pit road. Here we go. They put the hammer down very quickly. Nick Cohan takes it out front here as they head off into turn number 1. 2x2 stacked up. He's got the 77. James Pasquarelli right there on his back end. Going to take about a lap for that top side to get moving. Malik Ray's going to stay down low in the Skittle machine. As look at that right there. Those guys, man, are all over each other's bumper. As here comes the 51 up high as they come out of turn number 2.
Yeah, the 48's not quite on him completely yet, but you got to keep an eye on that 51 of Fuller. Pedro's pulling right up to him when he gets there. It's going to provide a head of steam for that 51 truck, and we're going to have a side-by-side battle for the lead between Fuller and the 57 of Cohan here as Pedro Mega looks to join the mix.
Pedro Mega, man, coming up there. He is glued to the back end of that 51 of Justin Fuller. We call him the Mega Machine. He's bringing it to the front. Look on the low side. Malik Ray, he's got help by the form of another 4 or 5 trucks behind him. The 25's in the mix there. Also, Chad Cole's coming up there along with him. Look at this. We got about 10 cars right there, trucks, that can get this thing done here. As we're going to come around here, we will get the white flag one more time here at Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Truck Series here for the winter side.
That's absolutely right. As the 57, a little bit more room out front than I thought, but as I said, the high side's really developing here. Tim Matthews on the high side as well. Brett McBride shows the bottom. The high side has Fuller leading it, Mega behind him. Mega's going around.
And that is almost a wreck, but they hold on to it. What a driving job of those guys up front. The problem is, as they come to the line with 1 to go, it is going to leave those other gentlemen out front. Justin Fuller will take this thing up there. Wow, what a turn of events as Chad Cole's right on his back end. Folks, 1 lap left as they come out of turn number 2 here. The leaders almost took the field out there, but what a driving job by them to hold on to it. I think I lost Harris, but that's okay.
I lost video, actually. You'll have to make the call here at the end.
All right, well, good deal. We're coming into turn number 3. 51 machine, Justin Fuller. He has got that number 8 of Chad Cole on his back end. The 54 does not have enough room. Here comes Malik Ray with a charge. He has got a head of steam running there. Coming out of turn number 4, they are going to go bumping, coming to the line, this time by the man out front, 51. It's a drag race to the line. Half truck lead. The 51 pulls it off there. What a finish to this one. Wow, that one was a thriller and a half right there. Justin Fuller by a truck. Let's go back on the replay. Just got to watch that one more time because that was that's the excitement that we see coming to the line here at Daytona. Let's go back just a little further here. Folks, that was awesome to see those trucks come almost 3 wide. To come out of turn number 4. The 51 had it. The 8 there, Chad Cole, tried to come to the line. We'll slow it down as they come across there. Malik Ray sitting there in 3rd by a half a truck, and behind them was inches for 4th place. They come across the line. Wow. Look at that. Just barely as they storm across the line. The 51 machine takes it here tonight. All right, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to try to see if we can. That's Tim Matthews right there. Awesome run on his end. I don't see him down here. Unless I'm missing something.
And I tell you, Fuller was doing a great job of drafting all night long, whether he was in the lead or pushing somebody to the lead. So It made a lot of sense to see that 51 truck is going to pull into victory lane here tonight.
Yes, it is. And I tell you, it was an awesome finish there. Those trucks, man, all around. Well, like I said, I'm showing Justin Fuller pulled this thing off here tonight. Chad Cole, what a remarkable comeback on his end, pulling that thing off to bring it back here into a second spot. Now, I'm trying to look for old Tim Matthews. Do you see him here? I don't see him in the speech.
No, not yet.
Okay.
He hasn't popped up in the media center yet.
It popped up in the media center yet, but that's not, well, you know what? We'll give him a few here as that man right there is burning them down. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring up old Chad Cole, second place man there. Let you get a talk with him, Harris.
Absolutely. And I'm here with Chad Cole. And Chad, I saw you approaching the end of the race there, had to fight from the back half of the top 20. Did you think you had a shot, that you would have a shot right at the end, just like you did?
No, not really. I'm not much of an optimist when it comes to these plate races, but coming to the white flag, I don't know who got into who, but I just found myself in second place behind Justin coming to the white there. And hats off to him. He did everything he did to win. It was kind of sketchy there. You know, it's so difficult to give room on these in the corners too, because you just feel like you're going to turn the guy, because I've seen it so much lately in iRacing and these restricted plate tracks in the corners. So I'm like trying to go for the win and not dump him as well, and trying to stay tight on him. That's a tough balancing act, but he did what he had to do, so congrats to him. Overall, I mean, just trying to bide my time tonight, because you know stuff is going to happen, and able to come home with a second, which I'm pretty happy about.
Absolutely. And one of the things I was looking at before the race, I was checking out the schedule, and before we get to the chase, the playoff, so to speak, we will be visiting Talladega. And so I was wondering if you're going to approach Talladega any differently based on tonight, if you were able to learn anything from this style of racing with this group of guys.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to play it the same way and kind of ride in the back. I don't like riding too much, but I think it's all about self-preservation, really, at these plate tracks, and to be there at the end with the clean truck. And so I think I'm probably gonna have to do the same strategy. And you know, some guys are a little bit too aggressive early on, and they take out a lot of good trucks, unfortunately. So you just gotta play that strategy.
And certainly it paid off tonight with a nice podium finish. So congratulations on that. And do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
You, Harry, you're a fantastic broadcaster. I appreciate all you've done.
Oh, I appreciate that a lot. And that, of course, is coming from Chad Cole, who not only finished on the podium tonight, but behind the scenes does way more for Sim500 than anyone knows. I guess the official title would just be co-owner, but certainly big thanks to you as well for putting on all these series in this league.
Yeah, it's a team effort. We have probably 5 admins and all pitching in. It's really a team effort, and I guess a co-owner would be Joey Jatina. Shout out to him for this great idea for this winter series, as he calls it, even though it's October yet. Hopefully we don't see any snow flying anytime soon. Yeah, it's just a team effort by everyone, and Joe White, of course, up in the broadcast booth, switching, and it's a good thing we got going here. I'm really happy.
Definitely agree. It's produced some great racing on the track, and thanks a lot for joining us. Congrats.
Thank
again.
you, Harry.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, Harris, that was a happy camper right there. Chad Cole definitely pulling this thing off in second place. Hey, well, I want to apologize. Malik Ray was our third place man tonight, and he has jumped down there in the waiting room. Let's see if we can get him up here and let you, Harris, get a talk in with our third place man, Malik Ray. I have to kind of poke him because it won't let me move. There we go.
Malik Ray. Malik, we saw you finish second to Michael Guest last week in Chicago. Very different kind of racing. And this week, we didn't see you lead the laps. We didn't see you, in the same form as winning the Monday Night Money Championship. Kind of typical for some super speedway racing. But how did you approach tonight?
I was trying to just go for the dub. Like I was expecting to either win or wreck, and then when that first wreck happened on like lap 3 or 4, I saw how big the wreck was and how many people it took out. So I decided to try and stay into it because I think I had like 55 seconds of damage, and I got it all fixed. And thanks to some other people, I was able to stay in the lead draft and ended up getting a top 5.
Was it one of those things where it was very down on power on the straightaways, or not down on power, but down on aerodynamics?
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Like if I was behind someone, I couldn't like suck up with them or anything. But if I was being pushed, that was fine.
And one of the things that's interesting is having Talladega also before the chase. And I was wondering if tonight changed your the way you're going to approach Talladega at all. But judging by the track position, it might not be a bad idea. But of course, get at the end anyway. But the damage early on, are you going to try to put yourself in a different position early on in that one?
Yeah. From now on, like if I'm not gonna be in like the lead or second, I'm probably just gonna be running in the back as far as the plate races are concerned.
Definitely not a bad move. And Chad Cole said pretty much just the same. He's looking to do that same exact strategy when we visit Talladega again in a few weeks. But it's a strong finish tonight, especially after 55 seconds damage. That's pretty impressive. Do you have anyone you'd like to thank after a strong podium?
All of the people that helped me whenever they were pushing me and stuff, while I was, slow on power. You guys for broadcasting, and Joey and Chad and all the admins for making this league possible every week.
We certainly appreciate that, and congratulations again on a nice finish.
Thank you guys, I appreciate it.
All right, what's one happy camper right there? That's Malik Ray, man, powering that thing back up here to third. Well, Harris, I'm going to jump on my golf cart, run on down here to Victory Lane. Got another happy camper. Justin Fuller pulled this thing off here tonight. Daytona International Speedway for the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series here. Trucks. Let's bring him up here. Justin Fuller, Joe White in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, we got you.
Well, Justin, I tell you, out there, man, I tell you, it was a wild one there to finish this one here at Daytona, but you're the winner here tonight. Daytona International Speedway for Sim500 Monday Night Money Series. How's it feel to bring that thing in Victory Lane?
That's pretty good to bring home the win at Daytona. That's pretty much a crapshoot. Anybody that's out there can win. So to be able to be the one that is lucky enough to make all the right moves and come home to win or come home with the win is pretty good.
Absolutely, definitely. I mean, you had a bad fast machine, but looked up there, you brought the machine to the front there, and me and Harris was talking about it all race long. You were up there for most of the race. I mean, did you feel as it went on that you had the truck that you needed to stay up front and win this thing tonight?
I mean, it's like I said, anybody can win these races, but there is a little knack to it, and know which lines to pick and being able to draft well. And I like to think that I can draft pretty good. I wouldn't say I'm the greatest at it, but we look forward to tonight. Super Speedway racing is always fun, and it was a lot of fun tonight. And we showed it, and hopefully we can move on in this series and continue maybe rack up some more wins before the chase starts.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely look good. Well, got anybody out there you want to thank for the win tonight?
I'm going to thank everybody at Aftermath Motorsports, everybody here at Sim500 for putting together the league and allowing me to run here. You guys in the booth for broadcasting the races. About it. I mean, I just enjoy racing. I'm not here for the broadcast or anything, but you guys do a pretty good job. I go back and watch replays, and I appreciate you guys doing that. It makes it a lot more fun.
All right, good deal. Well, we appreciate it. Love, man, the excitement you guys put on out there week in and week out on the track. Again, congratulations for the win tonight here at Daytona, Justin Fuller.
Thank you.
All right, Harris, I tell you, wow, what a race here to cap this one off for race 2 here of the Sim500 Monday Night Money Series, winter series of the trucks here at Daytona. It was a unique race, definitely typical plate style racing tonight. Got any final thoughts on it?
I guess what made it a little bit different than I expected was the aggression throughout. Sometimes you see a lot of patience in the middle as they try to get to the end. It seemed like they were just racing the whole way through for the top spot, so it was exciting to watch.
Made it interesting and exciting for us up here in the booth to call too, and I know the viewers out there loved every minute of it here. Well, folks, if you like this, well, tune in next week. We'll be back here same time, same place, same everything. As always here, Joe White Harris up here in the booth. As we're up here for OSR Network and the Sim500 here tonight. Again, congratulations to the winner here at Daytona, Justin Fuller, the man pulling it off. And to everyone, hey, tune in tomorrow night. We'll be live again for OSR Network. Till then, everyone have a good night.